We have some brand new information about what appears to be the true main villains of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which are seemingly confirmed by somebody who is working on Spider-Man Brand New Day currently. And if these reports are true, it tells us the true reason that Hulk is going to Hulk out again. And as you probably have assumed, no, it's not voluntary. Filming has begun for Spider-Man Brand New Day in Glasgow, Scotland, and it has been just awesome to see all of the set videos of him doing the actual swinging, using real practical effects, real explosions. It's been insane to watch. So at the very least, we know that visually the movie should look pretty dang good. On top of that, based off of everything that we've heard, there are going to be a lot of villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day. The insider Daniel RPK has stated that some of the villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day are going to be Tombstone, Tarantula, Boomerang, Scorpion, and Ramrod, who is a half cyborg. But today he said that there are more villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day than just the ones that he listed. Now, originally we thought Mr. Negative and the Inner Demons were going to be villains of the film. However, recently Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus said that they're not in the movie, which is kind of confusing because we apparently saw the Inner Demons logo on the armored vehicle that Frank is supposedly on that we see Spider-Man jump on in the set videos. But reportedly they are not going to be the main villains. And now we have 3 new villains mentioned today that are, again, seemingly confirmed by somebody who is working on Spider-Man Brand New Day to be in the film. And this could actually be a lot bigger than we realized. Now, fans are already happy because we are getting Spider-Man actually stopping true criminals. It's not something that's gigantic like a space alien, but a true friendly neighborhood Spider-Man looking out for his community, stopping crimes, and going after mob bosses. That's already a pretty big win for fans, but now it looks like they're going to take it up a level. According to a new report, AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, the criminal organization, is going to be kind of the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day, with Viper and Silver Samurai said to be a part of their organization. Now, this was reported on a handful of days ago by the outlet MaxBlizz, and at the time, they simply said they received a report, and they didn't quote the source, although they have reported on things with themselves being the source in the past. But now, this report gained a lot of validity due to something that somebody from Marvel Studios did. Monica Avito, who is the costume prop modeler for Spider-Man Brand New Day, created a mood board for the film's villain and put it on Pinterest. And as you can see here, it's a lot about samurais. So this really does point to the Silver Samurai showing up in Spider-Man Brand New Day, which means this whole entire report might be true. So Viper and AIM might show up as well. And according to this report, AIM is actually going to be the reason that the Hulk goes savage again. According to the same report, AIM is going to be tampering with Bruce Banner's mind to turn him into the Savage Hulk. And this does totally work story-wise. The only thing is, Marvel kind of wasted MODOK. Remember this guy from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? Yeah, I know a lot of fans are pretty upset about that, and it might hit a little bit harder now that AIM might be the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day. But the good news on that front is eventually the MCU is going to reset after Avengers: Secret Wars, so we could get a much better, more terrifying MODOK in the MCU after Secret Wars in our new universe. But for now, if AIM is the true main villains of the film, unfortunately I don't think we're going to be getting MODOK, but the Silver Samurai and Viper are pretty dang good villains. Now, there are 2 different versions of the Silver Samurai, but I think they're going to go with Kanuchio Harada. The reason I think this is because Kanuchio is the son of the Japanese crime lord Shinjin Yoshida, head of the Yoshida clan. And Kanuchio, aka the Silver Samurai, finds himself in New York City, and he finds himself fighting Daredevil. Now, we haven't really heard much about Daredevil being in Spider-Man Brand New Day since the script totally changed. Before all the talk about Null appearing in Spider-Man 4 was happening, before that we were hearing that Daredevil was going to be teaming up with Spider-Man in Brand New Day, or what was known as Spider-Man 4 at the time. But then it seems like they moved on to Null possibly being the main villain and story of Spider-Man 4, and then they moved on to what we have now. And it looks like instead of getting Daredevil, we're getting the Punisher. And it doesn't sound like we're getting Kingpin either, because Daniel RPK recently stated, sadly as of now, Kingpin isn't isn't in Spider-Man Brand New Day. So it sounds like Kingpin and his crime organization are not going to be the villains of this film, but AIM is going to take their place instead, if they were ever actually going to be in the film. Vincent D'Onofrio actually said he doesn't believe Kingpin can be in any movies because of rights issues with Sony. So for now, the Silver Samurai, Viper, and AIM might be our main villains, especially with the costume modeler posting these photos of samurai. Now, the Silver Samurai has the ability to generate energy and put them through inanimate objects. So he's able to transform the sacred silver sword of his ancestors to basically be able to pierce through anything with no resistance at all. And he's able to disrupt electronic and biological systems with that energy. So with that ability, he might be able to kind of biologically interrupt what is happening with Bruce Banner and all of the systems that he has in place to keep the Hulk from getting out. So his energy combined with some tech from AIM, that does seem like a good way to be able to get the Hulk to burst out of Bruce Banner and become savage once again. Also, Viper in the comics is the former leader of Hydra, and I personally think that it would be really cool if Marvel brought back Hydra. There's a lot of cool things that they could do with that. Now, in the comics, the Silver Samurai is the very loyal bodyguard to Viper, and she gets him involved in criminal activities in New York City, which ultimately leads him to running into Spider-Man. So I think that's also going to link into Spider-Man Brand New Day as well. I think AIM and the Silver Samurai's powers are what causes the Hulk to Hulk out again. And of course, Spider-Man figures out that they're behind it. So once everything gets settled with Bruce Banner / the Hulk, he goes after them so he can stop them from making Bruce Banner Hulk out again in the future. I know there's been a ton of characters mentioned for this movie already, but I think it's going to be much more simpler than it actually sounds. I think a lot of these villains are just going to show up primarily in the beginning of the film. They'll probably be in a scene that shows us Spider-Man fighting multiple villains, showing us what he's been up to after the events of No Way Home, showing us the true friendly neighborhood Spider-Man now. They'll give us a look at the new suit, how he no longer has Stark tech with his suit, the new web shooters that he designed himself, I'm sure. And much like they kind of did with the Fantastic Four, where they told us about the villains that the Fantastic Four defeated when they first became the Fantastic Four, I think we'll get something pretty similar to that, a similar montage in the beginning of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Peter Parker telling us what he's been up to, telling us that still nobody knows who he is, so he's been doing his best to be the best friendly neighborhood Spider-Man he can be, all while also trying to manage a job and go to college, which is a very Spider-Man story. But after that, it ultimately leads to the Hulk situation, which leads to the Punisher trying to take down the Hulk, which leads to Spider-Man trying to stop the Punisher from killing the Hulk. And for those asking how could the Punisher even stand a chance against the Hulk, Daniel RPK says that he's going to get a tech armor upgrade, and that's how he's able to stay in the fight, which makes a ton of sense because without that, yeah, he'd probably just get smushed. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, the three of them are going to be fighting each other. Then ultimately, I think Spider-Man convinces the Punisher not to kill the Hulk, but to help him bring back Bruce Banner. Then it becomes the Punisher and Spider-Man versus the Hulk until they eventually bring back Banner. Then Spider-Man has to go after AIM, the Silver Samurai, and Viper to make sure they don't make the Hulk Hulk out again. And I like this because this would actually lead to Spider-Man kind of being on his own. A lot of people have complained that Spider-Man has always had a mentor in the MCU. Well, I don't think he has one in this movie, especially because the Punisher has such different ideals than him. The Punisher kills. Spider-Man doesn't want to kill, and it seems like Spider-Man might actually influence the Punisher in this movie more than the Punisher would influence Spider-Man. So if anything, he's the one kind of teaching people in this movie. And then of course, there is still the mystery of Sadie Sink. We still do not know who she is playing in this film. We've had a lot of conflicting reports, so we really don't have an idea of who she's playing. She could be the actual Mary Jane Watson, she could be Spider-Gwen, she could be Mayday Parker from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man universe, and she could be his daughter. Heck, at one point in time, we heard that she could be Jean Grey. So if we hear anything concrete, we'll be sure to do an update about her character. So be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man videos. Don't forget to give this video a like and let us know your thoughts about the possibility of the Silver Samurai, Viper, and AIM being villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.